Hello, guys. Welcome to today's webinar. And in this webinar, we're going to talk about what you really need to do to free yourself from the binds of narcissistic abuse. Like, what you really need to do to heal from abuse, to heal from that abusive past, abusive childhood, or to just find peace in life and regain your inner confidence and reclaim that life you deserve without spending years and years of therapy, without using medication, or spending years and years learning about abuse. So this is for you if this resonates with you. And actually, if you're here, I know you feel that your mind is all over the place, or you might have experienced an abusive past from your loved one, from your parents, from your lovers, or from your past abusive relationships. So you're just having these racing thoughts, and you are in this dark path filled with spells of deep emptiness, loneliness, stuck. You are feeling depressed. You are feeling very sad. You are feeling disconnected. You might be also feeling dead on the inside, very anxious, having panic attacks, like missing your ex so much, like feeling betrayed, feeling very broken, isolated, and just a mixture of all those negative emotions which are keeping you late at night, which are making you sleep deprived, and you're just exhausted with everything. It's the point where you're feeling like a different person and everything in your life is a struggle. So stay tuned, and I'm going to share with you why you are stuck, and I'm going to share with you the three misconceptions and myths about healing from abuse. I'm going to be sharing with you why you are stuck with those thoughts, with those emotions, and what you need to do to get unstuck. So, here are the three misconceptions we'll cover in this webinar. The first one is it takes years to heal, or it's not even possible to heal from abuse. Or, of course, the common one, time is the healer of all wounds. So, what we are going to explain is I'm going to be explaining to you why you think that way, and I'm going to be giving you a very logical explanation on this, not with too much psychological jargon. No, a very logical explanation, and also explain to you why it doesn't really have to take years or forever to heal. The other misconception or the other misbelief you might be having is something like, I've been with my problems for far too long, Edwin, or I'm too messed up. So I'm going to be explaining to you why fear of the unknown, about the fear of the unknown, sorry, and why the mind feeds you with all those lies or all those beliefs, or why you think you have too many things in your plate. You might say, like, I have too many things on my plate to heal. Let me first focus on my work. Or I can't even go no contact. We have kids together. So it's not possible for me to heal. I'm also going to be explaining to you why all those are just lies the mind will feed you with. And the other thing we might be feeling is this thought of this will not work for me. Like, I've tried everything. I've tried all healing modalities. I've tried talk therapy, EMDR, DBT, CBT, art therapy, binaural beats. So I'm also going to be explaining to you why those things you've tried haven't really worked for you. And I'm also going to be explaining to you the thing which you've not tried. You've not tried this because you are even watching this video. If you had tried this, you'll be enjoying your life somewhere without even wanting to watch these videos anymore. And this would be a very interesting webinar. And I want you to just grab a pen and a piece of paper, and not even a piece of paper, just a book, because I want you to take some notes. I want you to really walk this journey with me, because at the end of this webinar, you will have a deeper understanding of why you are really stuck with those painful experience patterns, or why you are really stuck with those with those emotions, or why you are really stuck with that emotional pain. So have a pen and a paper with you, and so that you can reflect on them later on. And would it be worth it to you to understand that it is possible to permanently heal? I want you to highlight the word permanently here, like to permanently heal from abuse, or to permanently transform your life after an abusive past and process your trauma. And actually, guys, like, you don't even have to keep learning and learning about narcissism or trauma or all those kind of things, or you don't have to learn about those fancy terminologies to heal. Like, It's so counterintuitive, right? Like you don't have to learn about all those big words or psychology so that you can heal. No, you can heal without learning, so that you can live life without even needing the need to having the need to understand those fancy words. And would it be worth it to you to also understand that you don't have to pick another course after this? You don't have to recite your boundaries. You don't have to recite affirmations every morning or to learn about even red flags to keep you away from toxic patterns. And another thing before we continue is this is for you if you've gotten to the point of enough is enough with learning, enough is enough with understanding the abuser, and you just want to understand you. Like you just want to take care of you, you just want to accept you unconditionally, you just want to love you, you just want to prioritize you, you just want to live a life of freedom instead of surviving, instead of clinging to the past. Yeah. And this is not for you actually if you're looking for a temporary relief. Like if you're looking for a temporary relief from the pain you're feeling, or if you need advice on your symptoms, like if you need advice on how to deal with loneliness, how to cope with anxiety, how to cope with depression, this is not for you. This is for those who really want to overcome the symptoms on a deeper level, not to manage the symptoms, but to overcome what's causing the symptoms. Isn't that interesting? So let's dive in. So, what makes this different? It's okay. Here is what we are going to learn that, and let's continue. So first, let me introduce myself with this online meeting or internet meet let me meet you. So my name is Edwin. I'm a certified mind shifting coach and a I'm very enthusiastic about personal development. So what I do is I've been helping people who are suffering from the after effects of being in an abusive relationship, being in a toxic relationship, or being in a narcissistic relationship to find peace in their lives and never have to worry about falling back for the same patterns or going back to the same partners again. And I've been doing this for a couple of years now as I'm making this. So I've helped clients overcome their depression, feelings of emptiness, numbness, deadness, loneliness, chronic pain, feelings of unworthiness, and of course, all those symptoms which you are experiencing as a result of your past hurts, traumas, and experiences. So underline the word symptoms here. So all those things you're experiencing currently are just a symptom of something which is lacking much deeper. So I'll also be sharing with you some of my testimonials to really give you insight of what's possible for you once you start your healing journey. So this was a client I worked with in the past called Dennis. So he went from feeling drained to a place of happiness and a place of prioritizing himself. And he's also a client who didn't even believe in herself but went to a place of self-belief. So I'll be sharing these insights to really show you what's possible in this journey if you're really committed. And another thing we have to keep in mind is all these things that I'll be sharing, all these results I'll be sharing are not typical. They're not for everyone. They're just from real clients who I've worked with in the past, who found peace in their lives or who've healed from their traumatic experiences. And they're not really from an average person who takes no action. No, they're really clients who we really had a remarkable working experience together and they really took action, and they were so committed to overcome the emotional pain they were experiencing. And all this they did without medication or without regular therapy. It was just 4 weeks for some, 2 months for some. It was just in a short period of time. So they'll also help you to just to feel more positive on what's possible for you if you are really committed and you really want this for your journey. So what are the type of clients I work with? So I'll be sharing with you archetypes, the characters of most of the clients I've been working with, so that it can help you understand that this might also be you. So I work with self gaslighters. So these are people who emotionally abuse themselves. You might be calling yourself some names like I'm stupid for falling for that guy. I'm stupid for sticking to the relationship much longer. I'm stupid for putting myself in these situations. Or you might be questioning your sanity. You might be invalidating your own experiences and emotions. Or you might be harshly criticizing yourself. You might be second guessing yourself, like you can't even make a decision of what you'll have for dinner. Or you might be blaming yourself for the past. Or you are just blaming yourself for everything which is happening in life. I know you understand that so much. The other type is the emotional stuffer, and those who numb their emotions. You might be numbing your emotions, or you are in this place of I'm feeling nothing, I'm feeling no pleasure, I'm feeling emotionless, or you are bottling your emotions, or feeling that the only way to keep yourself safe in this world is not to feel, or not to date, not to do anything, just to lock myself up and be like a stone. That's the or to toughen up, to have a tough skin, because you feel that if you don't feel it, you won't get hurt. But all in all, you're still feeling this pain deep inside. And then there's this one now, the pretender or the fake. You might be pretending that you are okay, but inside you are in pain. You just want you don't even want to show those close to you that you are in pain, because you feel that pain is a sign of weakness. You smile and laugh with others, and when people ask you like, "Hey, how are you faring on after your past breakup?" You might tell them something like, "I'm okay," and everything. But deep inside, you are in emotional distress because you are afraid of judgment. You are afraid of letting them down. You are afraid of upsetting those close to you. So you might just find yourself pretending, but deep inside, you are in pain. The other clans I worked with are, of course, the negative skeptics. These are the people who say, like, nah, nothing works for me. I've tried it all. I've tried everything. And this healing thing is just so new age, like, haha, it can't work for me. Like, it's all lies, scam, and everything. Like, you are highly doubtful and highly pessimistic about your own life. But I know that's not true, because if you are very, very pessimistic about life, you wouldn't even be watching this video. There's still a part of you which wants that freedom. There's still a part of you which wants to heal. And then there's this one, the superhero. And this is normally what happens in these toxic relationship space. You find yourself like you've accumulated all the knowledge about NACs, all the terminologies, flying monkeys, blah, 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 neural pathways, childhood traumas. You even know all those gurus, all your favorite gurus in this space. Like, you're just at this point where you can do it all, and you even feel like, you don't need any help, like you don't need any therapy, like you're just okay. And you are even having a hard time asking for help. Like, your ego is so full of you, or you are full of yourself to the point that you can't ask for any help, because you know what I know is what you know. And you even find yourself in this state where you're even sharing the knowledge you've accumulated through online forums. Like, you might be spending most of your days in Facebook groups giving good advice, but deep inside you are in emotional distress. So I also work with those. You might also be a psychologist or a therapist, but you are afraid of coming out and just admitting that, hey, I'm in emotional distress, because you're helping people with this. The last one is the busybody. Keeping themselves busy, distracting themselves, or overworking themselves just to escape the intrusive thoughts, overthinking, missing your ex. But what you do is you focus on something else. You can focus on your goals, you can focus on online dating, you can focus on purpose in quotes, or even spirituality. But you are focusing on those things as an escape from what you are feeling deep inside, as an escape from the emotional pain you are feeling deep inside you. But you do all those, but the thoughts, the memories keep coming. And also the note now, Edwin, I'm currently busy with work and all these things. I can't really work on myself now. Only that. So there are many characters you develop as a result of past experiences. I know all those might describe what you're going through, what you've been through, but those are just the characters we develop as a result of past experiences, and they are not really you. No, of course you are an authentic self, but those are just the characters we develop, and it helps us to really know where we are. So this is also a past client I worked with. She was feeling traumatized after therapy, and she was feeling so stuck, like she was just losing everything. But after working with me for 2 months, she was able to feel a new lease of life. She was able to feel independent, and she was able to feel so empowered. Of course, you can read more about this transformational story in my blog. I know you can find that in the description. So these are just results to help you again know that it's possible. Yeah, she was really skeptical as well. She was gaslighting herself. She was blaming herself for everything. But we were able to get to a place of having a positive outlook of life. So let's now start with the first myth. The first myth is it takes years and years to heal from abuse, or it's not even possible to fully heal, or you just have to live with those traumatic memories. You just have to live with those stuck emotions. So, as I said, I want to explain to you this in a logical way, like in a logical manner. So, the first advice actually you get after leaving an abusive relationship is learn about NPD, learn about trauma bonding, learn about toxic relationships, learn about personality disorders, learn about red flags. It's just about learning, or accumulation of knowledge. So you are in this point of you want to understand the narcissist, you want to understand them, you want to understand the abuser, and logically these things are wasting your time. So you are confused about what hit you. You are confused about what they did, and you really want to know why. You want to know why they did it. So you might get stuck with books, more books. You might spend time, countless time on social media, Facebook groups, YouTube, or just any online forum, learning and learning. And you might even get to the point where you are giving advice to others on what you've learned. So you are learning and then you give advice. And the other thing is, you might also find yourself doing a Google search on something like, how long does it take to heal from abuse? And of course, it doesn't do you any favors because the answer you get is it takes years to heal from narcissistic abuse. It takes years to heal from trauma. And of course, because of your current state. So logically, you will believe what you Google because it will be shared by experts. So it doesn't do you any favor by telling you that it's possible to heal or it doesn't have to take years. So if it takes years, if you Google and then if Googling tells you that it takes years, of course you won't even bother to try something. You won't even bother to go for therapy because in the back of your mind you know that it will take 10 years. So what's the point of even doing something? So that in itself is keeping you stuck logically. So statistics and your actions will be working against you because you'll be following those statistics and your actions will be following those statistics. That's just logically. So the thing is, if you keep accumulating knowledge and more knowledge, or you focus more and more on learning, of course, realistically, it will take years. And you have to remember this, you still have a busy day, right? You're not really a psychologist. Like, you're not s- reading an abusive relationship or a book on narcissism, like for 12 hours a day. No, you're just reading one page, right? So when you read a page today and then a page tomorrow, of course, those days will count to 10 years of just studying about narcissism. So if you are really serious about studying, you can pick two or three books and then just completely read about narcissism or abuse or trauma, just three or four books, because at the end of the day, all those books have the same kind of ideas, maybe with just different terminologies. But you see, now what happens is you read an article today and then read another article tomorrow, so it's now becoming like a habit. You just want to study, and what you don't realize is the more you study, it turns out to studying for a day, studying for 2 days, studying for 3 days, and then those days turn out to you've been doing this for 10 years. And that's just logically speaking. So you now get to this point of you start doubting yourself, and you now feel that you'll be stuck in this state forever, like you've been reading these things for 20 years and it's doing nothing. That's why it's logically taking time. The other thing is, you might, of course, go for therapy or counseling and you start feeling better, of course, because you get coping mechanisms, but it's still scratching the surface. Then you might think that you've healed. Then a few months down the line, you find yourself falling back for the same patterns, or you're experiencing the same emotional pain. Then, of course, you ask yourself, I thought I had healed. Of course, this sounds familiar, right? Like you thought you had healed. That's why you will think that it will take time because the experts have told you it will take time, and you also have evidence. Because something about this life is we believe so much in what our gurus tell us. Like if someone has been doing psychology for 30 years and then it tells us that, then they tell us, hey, it will take 20 years to heal from abuse. Of course, you'll believe that because we believe authority figures. So logically, you will think it takes time. Let's continue. I'm just sharing the logical and then now go to the a deep explanation. So the more you get stuck, of course, the more you feel the need to learn more and more and more and more. So you might feel the need to learn about the inner child, attachment styles, blah blah blah, trauma, narcissism, all those kind of things. So you fall into this trap called, let's call it the path of least resistance, like the easy path. Actually, reading about these things is easy. Anyone can read, but going to where the emotional pain is not an easy thing because it's painful. So reading becomes now your coping mechanism. Yes, you might be feeling better because you feel that a narcissist is so lost and they are so abusive. But now, what you don't realize is you are focusing on the other person. You're not even focusing about on yourself, like the pain you are feeling, your deep unworthiness, or all those kind of things. Of course, you will be stuck in this state forever because you are focusing on the other person. You're not really taking full responsibility of your healing journey, not full responsibility of your past, full responsibility of your present life. So you might get stuck on, of course, this like, oh, I need to be trauma informed or to know more about narcissistic abuse. Like you might be telling yourself this, like, once I understand them, then it will be enough. Like once I read all the red flags, it will be enough. Once I understand how they behave, like their psychology or dark psychology, I will understand them. Once I understand manipulation, no, because you don't understand one thing, like your mind. Let's talk about the mind here now. Is your mind will always seek self-preservation. It will always seek ways to keep you stuck with your current thought patterns. So you find yourself in this loop of wanting answers, wanting closure, which keeps you stuck in your current identity. It's like a car which is stuck in mud. So it will just trying to get out, but it's not really getting out. That's how it is. So that's why you have to ask yourself this: what do you really want? Do you really want to understand someone, to understand a narcissist who is not accountable for their actions or who is not responsible for their lives, who has a distorted worldview, or you want to be free and happy? Of course, you want to be free and happy. But you think that by studying, you'll be free and happy. No, you are getting stuck. That's why you're here. You are here to learn how you can free yourself from those past painful experiences. No one loves learning about psychology. You could be down there like doing another thing, following your passion, chasing your dreams, not studying narcissism. So you want to really change so that you can find yourself in a place where you are not susceptible to those abusers in future. Because you will have a deep understanding of you. But what really happens is, sorry, this should be what really happens. But what really happens is your experts, your therapist may give you an advice like do this and then you'll do that. Like say this affirmation, you'll do that. Like read these red flags, you'll do that. It's all about coping or just finding a way to deal with the symptom. And there's no problem with all this, but the thing is, we are looking at the wrong place. You when you label yourself or when you are diagnosed, you're not that diagnosis. No, that diagnosis is there because of our past experience. I'll explain to you what healing really is about. So you feel that the more you trust those people, those authority figures, the more you feel that that's how it is. That's who you are. Like you are a people pleaser. Like you are an anxious attachment person. You just have to cope with it. No, you are not that. It's just a diagnosis. So that's why you think that it will take forever and it's not really possible because you identify yourself with the symptom. Like you don't really go to the root of the problem. You focus on the symptom, you focus on the anxiety, you focus on the depression, and not the identification with the past, or not the root identification with your past experiences. This is because like your life currently actually is being defined by those past experiences. So you might try to distract yourself like by focusing on your career or something, and then a few days later you are back to where you started. So that's why you might think that it takes a lot of time. And I know if you're watching this, I know you've probably tried some of these. You probably tried journaling, meditation, affirmations, traditional talk therapy, online healing programs, binaural beats, hypnotic audio, art therapy, or massively studying about it. Yes, let's first understand these things, guys. Like All these things are actually very, very amazing. All these tools are actually very amazing. But there is one thing you need to understand. Those tools are amazing, but now what they do is they scratch the surface. They're not really penetrating to the deep level. So the more you scratch the surface, the more you get stuck in the same place. That's why you might do all those tools and then you feel that you're still overthinking. It's not stopping. You're still getting re-traumatized, as one of my past clients told me that she did at therapy, and then she was so re-traumatized, or she had to talk about her abusive past, and you still find yourself feeling hopeless. And of course, you get to this point where you feel that you've been just wasting money with therapy and doing all these things, all these courses, and you ask yourself why. Like, is healing really possible? If you've tried all those things, is healing really possible? So I'm going to be explaining to you why those things don't really work as much. So, what is healing really all about, or what you've been not been told? So, healing is not actually a lifelong process, guys. So, healing is more of releasing those anchors that are holding you back. So, those anchors are things which are holding you back to your past painful experiences. They're holding you back to those past traumatic experiences. And let me explain these actually briefly with an analogy of a boat with an anchor. So, I want you to imagine that you are the captain of this ship here. So, as a captain, you are trying to leave the shore without raising the anchor. So you are trying to leave the shore without raising. Of course, the ship will leave for a small distance, and then the anchor will pull it back. Small distance, the anchor will pull it back. So if the captain is not really fully aware, he might find themselves like going around in just cycles, because they're still anchored to the shore. So you can't really go far when you're still anchored to the shore. So I want now to imagine that if the captain raises the anchor, of course the ship will sail. It will sail to those waters, those untested waters. It will sail. It will really go far. So your identification with the past, or your identification with the past experiences, is like your anchor. You are anchoring yourself to a past. So you might try everything, but your anchor, your past experiences, will still try to pull you back to the shore. Hope that makes sense, guys. So the anchors will keep pulling you back unless you raise it, and you can't really go far. Let us continue explaining it with this tree. So the thing about your thoughts and your current emotions, they're always rooted in the past. So most of your techniques, or most of your healing modalities, actually, they focus on more of plucking the leaves, which is dealing with the things above the surface. And if you deal with the things above the surface, guys, it will never result to a permanent transformation. If you pluck these leaves, the tree will always grow. But now, what happens now if you go to the root of the problem? Like what's below the surface? What's even beyond your current level of awareness? Of course, you'll be able to work on those beliefs. You'll be able to uproot this tree and transform those beliefs, because those beliefs, those subconscious beliefs, are the things which are running the show behind the scenes. So, to conclude this section of it takes time, is like it takes time because your techniques and methods are looking in the wrong place. They are looking in the symptom. They are looking in the current emotions you are feeling. They are not looking at clearing what caused those emotions in the first place. They are not looking at clearing the stuck emotions in the first place. That's why you're still getting triggered and you think that it takes a long time. Thank you. So now that there is also like a past client I work with, like you're sharing about how embarking on this short journey has been life changing and very liberating. And I was talking about my insight and wisdom, kindness, and set of skills. So he was able to face those imprisoning beliefs, because your beliefs are actually imprisoning. Your beliefs are what actually keep you stuck with past patterns. And this was also another one, like having trauma bonds, like it was so trapped, tethered in the past, everything, and she's been attracting narcissistic individuals for a very, very long time. But she was able to maintain boundaries, to with other people without feeling guilty, creating a career. Like healing is actually like a big domino. Once you crash it, you'll start getting other beautiful things in your life. Like your career might change, your financial situation might change because you've just done one thing. You've gone to the root of the problem. So as I said, guys, I'll be sharing these testimonials just to show you that it's really possible. And it doesn't have to take years and years to really do it. As long as, of course, there are two words here, as long as you are committed and you really want this. So let's jump into the second myth now. The second myth is, this is a very common one. Edwin, my problems are too big to resolve. Like I've been with these problems for the past 20 years. So I'm going to be explaining to you how fear of the unknown is more of your greatest friend in quotes and for. And I'm also going to be explaining to you the comfort of familiar pain. So here's what normally happens. Probably seated down here and your mind is telling you everything. Let's say you're not busy, you're just there doing your own thing, and then your mind is feeding you with lies like, I'm too messed up. Like, I cannot go no contact since we have kids together. Like, how can I really heal without no contact? Like, I've really read on the internet that the main thing is going no contact, but I can't go no contacts. You have to meet them at work, or you've been living with those problems for 10, 20 to 30 years, or you feel that also like your problems are part of who I am. In fact, people normally joke about these symptoms and like, this is my anxiety. Hey, my anxiety is driving me this way. Like you're so proud of those problems, the point that you even feel that they are you, or you can't live without them, and they still control you, or you can never really escape from them. They are so good, or it's a close family member, someone you cannot avoid, or you're not ready to face your inner demons, or of course, this is another one. I'm okay with everything as it is, but you're still in emotional distress. So, why do we really love being stuck in pain, or why do we really love suffering? So, actually, at the core of our being, no one wants to stay in pain, no one wants to suffer. We want to feel happy, we want bliss, we want joy, we want satisfaction. But what happens is, something about the mind is, the mind loves familiarity. Like there's comfort in a familiar kind of environment. So the mind is used to I mean, the mind which is used to pain. Let's say you were used to pain since you were a child or for the past 10 years. So when you're used to pain, your mind develops coping mechanism to deal with the pain, or to cope with the pain, or to cope with the symptoms of the pain. So to the mind, it feels safer staying with that pain because it knows what to expect. This is because when things are more predictable to your mind, your current state of mind, of course, it will feel that it's safe. Of course, it's hurtful on the inside, but it will feel that it's safe. So the mind knows this so well. Like the mind doesn't want you to let that pain go away or to let go because it feels that if it lets go, or we can talk about this proverb of it's better the devil you know than the angel you don't. So the mind knows the devil. It's been with the devil for the past 20, 30 years. Of course, devil in quotes. So it's afraid of letting go of the devil and meeting the angel because the angel might be a worse kind of demon. Of course, metaphorically. So the mind is trying to actually protect you from going inwards because it's never known peace, it's never known happiness, bliss, or healthy relationships. Like it's never really known freedom. So freedom to it is kind of a scary thing. Like freedom and bliss is scary because it's the world of the unknown. And something about the unknown is it's actually one of those greatest fears, of course, next to death, because we don't know. Also, if death is also another unknown, so we don't really know what to expect. But when we know what to expect, we feel safer. So to the mind, which has been used to pain, it knows what to expect from a narcissist. It knows what to expect from abuse. So what it will do is it will always feed you with thoughts to reinforce your current belief system, or it will feed you with thoughts to keep you stuck with the pain, because in a twisted kind of way it thinks that it's keeping you safe. So your current identity thinks that it's keeping you safe. So when you're a, for example, like when you're, for example, when you're a people pleaser, you might think that You think that people pleasing is just a way to for you to get validation or to get that feeling of satisfaction in life because that's what you're used to. Let me explain this with a sorry. So let me explain this with a brief analogy. I want you to imagine that you are a bird in a cage, right? So this bird is used to staying in that has been used to staying in that cage for the past 10 years. So of course to the bird, the cage is a bit safe, right? The cage, the bird is being given food and everything, like protected. And then now, after 10 years, the cage is opened. Like then the bird is told, hey, you can now fly in the sky and enjoy your life of freedom and everything. Of course, the bird will stick to the cage because to the bird, the cage is safe. It doesn't know what it will expect out there. Like it might meet other birds and then gets hurt, or you might find a life of freedom. So at times, life is all about taking the risk and seeing things differently. So the bird or your mind or like that cage bird is now like your current state of mind. It enjoys and it feels safer in that cage. And even if it's told that, hey, healing is possible, you will find a way, like by saying words like, I'm in too much problems, just to keep you stuck or to keep you safe in quotes. That's the second myth. Like your problems are too big. So your problems are not too big. Too big. It's just your mind feeding you with things that will keep you stuck in the current state of mind or with your pain much longer because it thinks that you are safe with the pain. It doesn't want to soar the skies. It doesn't want to explore a world of freedom. So yeah, let's jump to another. The last myth. The last myth is, yeah, this is also a common one. I have tried everything. Or how is this different, Edwin? I've tried all those things we talk about and they never really work. So the short answer is, of course, you've not tried everything. You never tried me, and that's why you're watching this video. If you had really tried everything, even me, then you will not be watching this video. You'll just be enjoying your life now and enjoying that life of freedom and bliss. The thing is, as I mentioned before, like you've been handling the problem on the surface level and you've never really gone deeper. If you've really gone deeper, you will not even be watching this video. You'll be doing something else, enjoying your life, laughing, and not in emotional distress. You'll not be feeling that emotional pain. You'll not be getting triggered all the time. So you've been dealing with the symptoms, you've been dealing with the anxiety, with the panic attacks, but you've never really gone to the deep layers of your subconscious mind. The thing is, the subconscious mind is the powerhouse which holds all your unhealed wounds, traumatic memories, and unprocessed emotions. So all those things you've never processed in the past, they never really go away unless you process them in the moment they are occurring. So all those traumatic memories, all those names you are called by your parents, your partners, they still they just seep into the subconscious mind. So you've not really gone there to the root of the problem, which is the invisible, like the things you are not even aware of. Like you've not really dissolved your identification with those past experiences. You've not dissolved your identification with what they did to you in the past. So unless actually even not just with me here, unless you've really gone or dealt with the problem or your traumas on a subconscious level or on the deep levels of the unconscious, you've always been scratching the surface. It's like scratching a wound. Instead of healing the wound, you've just been scratching it. And of course, the more you scratch the wound, what will happen, guys? Of course, you will feel that the wound is kind of fresh. That's what you've never gone. Let me explain to you this using a brief analogy of why you've never really tried everything. So this is a sick fish in a filthy fish tank. So this sick fish in a filthy fish. So this filthy tank is like now your current identity or your current perception of reality. So what you've been doing is with your healing modality and with your reading and everything is you've been removing the fish, this fish, and introducing healthy fish. Or you've been treating the fish, let's say, of course, with medication for the symptoms they are displaying. Like the fish is sick, so you just treat it. So you just take the fish outside and then return to the same filthy fish tank. So of course, no amount of treating or of course replacing the fish will stop the fish from getting sick because the tank is filthy. So now this replacing the fish and treating the fish is like what we normally do. You might think positive, you might jump into another relationship, you might keep yourself busy, even affirmations. It won't stop the fish from getting sick. What you really need to do to this tank is, of course, you have to clean the tank, and after cleaning the tank, now you introduce new fish and clean water. So you've never really cleaned your tank. You've never really dissolved your false identity. So you've never really dissolved your false identity because of your past experiences. You've never really cleared your subconscious beliefs. Cleared those subconscious beliefs which have developed as a result of past experiences. That's what you've never really done. You've never really cleaned your tank. You've just been introducing fish, fish without really going to the root of the problem. Hope that makes sense, guys. So this is different actually because we are working on the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind. We are working on what's below the surface. We are working on those traumatic memories which you've been holding with you for the past couple of years. So it's more of we clear what's running the show behind the scenes, which is your subconscious beliefs. Like we clear those root identifications with the past using mind shifting. Because once you clear those root identifications with the past, of course, you'll be able to act so freely without the past holding you back. Because if you just work here, this will still pull you back. So what happens now with mind shifting now, those techniques is we work on shifting your reality, shifting this reality to where you've dealt with those things which are below the surface. Like you are not now identified with the past. Let me explain to you further, the levels of reality. So actually, the reality we experience or the reality you experience currently is more of this is now the reality is more of a reflection of your beliefs. So there are actually four levels of reality. The four levels of reality are we start with and those levels start with your mind's identification with your past experiences. So it is the mind's identifications which cause our beliefs, which is now I'll give an example, so don't worry. So it is your mind's identification with the past which cause your beliefs. So those beliefs cause your thoughts and emotions, and those thoughts and emotions now drive your actions. So what most of your healing modalities focus on is just actions and thoughts without going to where those thoughts and emotions are originating from. Don't worry, guys, I'm going to explain to you with an example. So these are great examples to just really help you understand that your current identity is not actually who you are. It's just a false identity. So let's say you experienced a painful experience, or you were emotionally neglected in the past. Or it doesn't even need to be like a trauma or emotional neglect. Maybe you learned this in the past. So of course, because of these experiences, you might have adopted a fixed identity to keep you safe in that environment because you are a kid and you want to survive. That's what you want. So for you to survive in the environment, you might have picked an identity of being a people pleaser, for example, so as to gain affection from your loved ones. So let's say for you to gain affection from your parents, you had to do something, or you had to really take care of them so that they can pat you in the back and tell you now you're doing a good job. So because you wanted to survive, so the more you keep that identity in place, you become stuck in that identity of being a people pleaser. You become stuck in that identity because you are resisting the negative experience of being rejected. Like if you don't please your parents or your partner or your loved one, you will get rejected. And you don't want to get rejected because being rejected is a awful kind of feeling. And it also gives you a bit of satisfaction trying to make other people happy. So when you identify as a people pleaser, it's serving you in terms of keep making you feel satisfied, but on the inside, it's hurting you. So your life circumstances will always work towards reinforcing those limiting beliefs, and that limiting belief for you is now like being a people pleaser. So you've attached your worth or your well-being to what other people say about you. So your people pleasing is like what dictates your self-worth. So what really happens when you live life in that kind of people pleasing way? You will end up prioritizing others in front of yourself. You will end up lowering your boundaries to make everyone happy or not to upset them. That's why you will get stuck with toxic partners, because a toxic person is someone who wants their needs to be met without even caring about other people. And then you, now as a people pleaser, you want to meet the needs of everyone because you don't want to upset them. So you find yourself trying to impress them, lowering your boundaries to let them do what they want with you. So with this identity, you'll still you'll get stuck because you feel that that identity is just who you are, or that identity is having you. Don't want to upset that toxic person. You don't want to say no. So healing now is this point of dealing with those like identities, like dealing with this people pleasing identity, or dealing with those false beliefs you have about yourself. So, in our example now, dissolving the identity of being a people pleaser is processing the past emotions, thoughts, and experiences that resulted in that identity. So, it's more like we are going back and working on these emotions which you resisted, that led to you developing this identity of being a people pleaser. Hope that makes sense. So we resolve those stuck emotions that are keeping this identity in place. Yeah. So the moment we resolve those stuck emotions, you will dissolve that identity of being a people pleaser. So of course, what will happen now without that false identity? Of course, you will prioritize yourself and your well-being. You will keep boundaries and understand what's within your control. You will say no with a lot of ease when someone tries to use you, or when someone tries to exploit you for their own needs. Case in point, like an abusive person, you will deeply know it's not your job to take care of others. So we are resolving that. So that is one identity. Of course, there are many identities. It can be something like being a perfectionist or being someone who can't keep boundaries. But it's just about your identification with the past experience. So to really get permanent transformation, free from those free from those limiting beliefs and those false identity, you have to resolve or process the emotions which cause or which put the identity in place. So you have to process those traumatic memories. You have to process those painful experiences or those wounds. And once you process those, you will be operating from the point of your authentic self. That's what now we can call authentic self. Yeah. So these are also some testimonials of people who've really gone deeper and really worked on their false identities. So like this is a client who really felt that I made it safe for him, and passionate about what I do, felt like integrity. So thanks. So it's just about making it safe for you to go to those hard places. And this was another client who felt enlightened, like no longer triggered, living a life without being angry at X. So all these just showing you what's possible for you once you embark on this journey. And as I've said, if your healing modality is not actually going to the subconscious or going to the deeper levels of your mind, then it will be really hard for you to transform. You'll get stuck, and then you'll find yourself being re-traumatized. But if you are really going to the deeper levels of your mind, even if you're not working with me, even if you are working with someone else, you will get a transformation. So I want to ask you a question now, because you've been watching this for the past 50 minutes. So I want to ask you a question, and I'm glad you've stuck till the end. So I want to ask you a question. I want you to imagine this. I want you to imagine a life of feeling unburdened and free from the past. I'm a life of sleeping peaceful without racing thoughts about your past relationship or your past experiences each and every night haunting you, or loving yourself unconditionally and knowing you deserve a better life, or not having to settle for less because you understand who you are. Like you love you, or not being triggered constantly and being able to live without constant fear and anxiety, or being to live a life where you're not constantly watching your back, you're not constantly watching your triggers, you're not constantly avoiding places where you used to go with your ex, or you're in a place where you're having deep and fulfilling connections and deep relationships in your life, deep authentic relationships, intimacy, and all those kind of beautiful things. Just a life of bliss, a life of abundance, or a life where you are believing in yourself and your ability and what you stand for, or a life where you're not even worried about ending up alone. You might be 60, 70, but you're not even worried about ending up alone, and you're just a happy single, or you're just happy by yourself. You are also happy with where you are. Now, I want you to really imagine this. Isn't that a very great imagination to have about what's possible for you in your life? So, so during this webinar, let me just do a brief recap of what we've talked about in this webinar. And let me first ask you this. Would you agree that it's been time well spent so far? Like you really understood some misconceptions and also some brief concepts of the mind. If you've not really understood this well, you can still go back and take a look, or you can now read those notes. And another thing is, you might be at this point of saying that, Edwin, I don't understand any of this. That it's okay. I can't really cover everything you need in such a short webinar. And then you're also saying that, Edwin, you are speaking so fast, or Edwin, your accent, like where are you really from? Your accent, I can't really listen to your accent. No, it's okay. I can't really cover everything in your short webinar. And that's why I have a special offer for you, so that you can get everything you need to know when healing from abuse fast. Not 10 years, 5 years, no, fast, even in less than 2 months. And if you're really committed and passionate about your healing or breaking free from those binds of abuse, then the thing is, I usually open my diary every 3 days, and I offer something called a free breakthrough call, like a free breakthrough call. So, actually, so you might ask yourself this, like, what is this breakthrough call? So, actually, a breakthrough call is just a 45-minute call with me personally, where we dig deeper and find out what is happening in your life currently, or how your problem is affecting you. And we also discuss if I'm the right fit to help you with your problem. We'll also like take a deep dive into your problem, and once we do that, I'll personally design an outcome to help you finally overcome emotional suffering and those painful feelings, so that you can find a life of peace and freedom and live happily and reclaim that awesome life you deserve. It's just about getting to know where you are currently, not like physically but emotionally, and then where you want to be, and then talking about the challenges which are stopping you from getting there. And if I can help you get there in a faster way, that's okay. So having a breakthrough call with me is the most important step you can finally take to overcome what you are going through, to overcome those traumatic memories, to overcome you're constantly missing your ex, to overcome those painful feelings you have towards your past experiences, to overcome those that feeling of blaming yourself because of what happened to you in the past. It's just that one step which I don't want you to miss. That's why, if you are really ready, you can book your free breakthrough call with me now by clicking the link in the description. And there'll also be a small survey because I want to understand you more. And another thing is, before we really finish, guys, I want to tell you who this breakthrough call is for, because it's not for everyone. It's for those people, or for someone who has that deep desire to have a lasting change in their lives. It's for someone who is ready to take full responsibility of their healing and who is ready to focus on their growth. And then it's also for someone who is so committed to finally heal from the past. And they know that enough is enough. Enough is enough with studying. And what they want now is to get unstuck from the past. It's for you also, if you are ready to break free from toxic relationship patterns in your life. Like you're ready to really break free. Or it's for you also if you are tired of living with the pain, guys. Aren't you tired of living with the pain? And you are ready and you have the willingness to go deeper in your healing journey and be free. Also, like, actually, so this is also not for you if you're still looking for advice, and you're not ready to commit to your own healing, or you're not even ready to invest your time and money into themselves to overcome that emotional suffering and heal from abuse, or someone who's just looking for something to do, like something to keep yourself busy, or just a call to talk to me. No, this is not for you. If you're, or if you just want to learn about the abuser and why they do what they do, like you want to know why no, this is not for you. Or if you're not really willing to take full responsibility on your life, so this is not for you if these things resonate with you. And as I've said, I always open up my diary every 3 days to take these breakthrough calls. And I always have room for just 10 people. Once these 10 spots have been filled, I remove the offer. So don't hesitate. If you feel like you are finally ready, or want to walk this journey, and you are tired of being stuck, you are tired of watching these videos, you're tired of watching those gurus and reading those books, and you want to finally heal those emotional scars, then of course you can book your call below and fill in the survey. Thank you so much for those who showed up till the end of this webinar. And now is the time to take action and book your free breakthrough call. Thank you so much, guys. Hope you found this informative and happy healing, and looking forward to seeing you in that breakthrough call.